The night air off Oak Beach was thick with salt, the kind that sticks to your skin and makes every breath feel damp. It was just after 4 a.m. on May 1st, 2010, when Shannon Gilbert ran barefoot through the quiet, winding streets of the gated community, her voice trembling over a 911 call that would last 23 minutes. "They're trying to kill me," she told the dispatcher, her words rushed, her breathing uneven. Somewhere in the dark, footsteps crunched on gravel. Drawing closer, she knocked on doors, pounded on them, but no one let her in. Just hours earlier, Shannon, a 24-year-old from Jersey City, had been at her apartment getting ready for a client she had arranged to meet through Craigslist. She had been working as an escort for a while, sending money to her mother and sisters, telling them it was just temporary. That night, her driver, Michael Pack, took her to Oak Beach, a secluded strip along the south shore of Long Island. The client, a middle-aged man named Joseph Brewer, welcomed her into his house. According to Brewer, the meeting was consensual, but within an hour, Shannon became agitated. He later told police she was paranoid, pacing the room, saying someone was after her. At 4:51 a.m., she made the first call to 911 from Brewer's home. The dispatcher tried to keep her calm, but Shannon's words became more frantic. Pack told investigators he tried to get her to leave, but she refused. At some point, she bolted out the door and into the night. She ran to the home of a neighbor, Gus Coletti, banging on his door and crying for help. Coletti opened it to find a thin, shaking young woman in dark jeans and a jacket, her eyes wide. "They're after me," she said. Before he could get more details, she turned and ran again. Coletti, suspicious and concerned, called 911 himself. Moments later, another neighbor, Barbara Brennan, spotted Shannon running past her yard, shouting into her phone. Then, she vanished into the marshland that stretched toward the bay. Police didn't arrive until after sunrise. They searched for hours but found no trace of her. No shoes, no phone, no signs of a struggle. The official response was slow, partly because the area was isolated, partly because Shannon's line of work seemed to make the urgency negotiable in the eyes of law enforcement. Months passed with no word from her. Her family pleaded for more effort, but it wasn't until December 2010, during a search for her body, that police stumbled on something else entirely. An officer with a cadaver dog was sweeping along Ocean Parkway, just west of Oak Beach, when the dog signaled. There, hidden in the scrub and sand, was a set of human remains. They weren't Shannon's. The next day, more remains were found. By the end of the week, 4 women had been identified, all young, all sex workers who had advertised online. They were found within a quarter mile of each other, each wrapped in burlap. Their names were Melissa Barthélemy, Maureen Brainerd Barnes, Megan Waterman, and Amber Lynn Costello. All had gone missing between 2007 and 2010. The Long Island serial killer case had just begun. The search widened. By spring of 2011, 6 more sets of remains had been found along the same stretch of Parkway. Some were women. One was a toddler. Another a man dressed in women's clothing. None was Shannon. Her body wouldn't be found until December 13th, 2011, a year and a half after she disappeared. She was lying face down in the marsh, less than half a mile from where she was last seen. Nearby were her jeans, purse, and phone. The medical examiner ruled her death inconclusive, suggesting she may have drowned or become disoriented in the dark. Her family never accepted that. They insisted she was murdered, that the same person who killed the other women chased her into the marsh that night. Theories multiplied. Some believed the serial killer had nothing to do with Shannon's death, that she panicked, fled, and became lost. Others thought she was the key, that her frantic 911 call had put her directly in the killer's sights. In 2016, her family hired Dr. Michael Baden, a former New York City chief medical examiner, to review her autopsy. He noted damage to a small bone in her neck, consistent with strangulation. It was not proof, but it gave weight to their belief that she hadn't died by accident. Years went by, leads went cold, detectives retired. The case seemed destined to remain in the limbo of unsolved crimes that live on only in news specials and internet forums. Then, in July 2023, police arrested Rex Hoyerman, a 59-year-old architect from Massapequa Park, and charged him with the murders of 3 of the women found in 2010. Court documents detailed a chilling trail. Burner phones used to arrange meetings, Google searches for torture and murder, maps of burial sites. Hoyerman denied involvement in Shannon's death, and prosecutors have not charged him in her case. Still, her family believes the same darkness that took the other women also took her. To this day, the 911 recording from that night has never been made public in full. Only snippets are known, fragments that reveal a terrified young woman convinced someone was hunting her. The official line remains that her death was accidental, unrelated to the serial killings. But for those who have walked the marshland where she was found, where the wind off the bay carries a cold, heavy stillness, it's hard to believe she was alone that night. Her mother, Mari Gilbert, spent years fighting to keep her daughter's story alive. She appeared on talk shows, confronted officials, and spoke at vigils for other missing women. In 2016, Mari herself was murdered, stabbed to death by another of her daughters, who was later found mentally unfit for trial. It was as if tragedy had wrapped itself around the Gilbert family and refused to let go. Today, Oak Beach looks the same as it did that night. Quiet streets, waterfront homes, the dark marsh stretching toward the water. Residents go about their lives, the events of that spring fading into memory. But the Long Island serial killer case still casts a shadow, one that deepens every time another lead goes nowhere. Shannon Gilbert's final moments remain suspended between the official story and the one her family clings to. Was she running from her own mind, as the authorities once suggested? Or was she running from a man who knew the marsh well enough to make her vanish into it forever? The truth is out there, somewhere along that desolate stretch of road where the wind howls through the reeds, where the tide swallows footprints before the sun rises, and where, for a few terrifying minutes, a young woman's voice carried into the dark, begging for someone to hear her.